Max Scherzer's rather impressive return to the starting lineup for the Texas Rangers today. 5 innings, gave up just the 1 hit, did not give up a run, struck out 4. Welcome back indeed. There's something kind of percolating with this Rangers team finally as we round out this month of June.
Yeah, it's great to get Scherzer back, but more importantly, this pitching staff has been pretty remarkable, especially over the last few games. Sean, I'm curious from your perspective, what have you seen from the Rangers, at least since the Dodgers series, I think is really when they took a lot of people's attention?
Yeah, the pitching's been really solid. I know they've dealt with a lot of injuries for pretty much the duration of the season, but the rotation hasn't been the problem. You know, the bullpen can be spotty at times, but when you're having an offense that won that Dodger series by only scoring 3 runs, things were still a little tough. But here in this Kansas City series this past week, and you finally saw some more crooked numbers. And really, that's the key to getting back in the West Division race or the wild card race this summer. This offense simply has to be better. I mean, obviously, you can call it a bit of a World Series hangover, but point is, Adolis Garcia has not been the same player he was last October and early in November. And you had Nathaniel Lowe regress, and Wyatt Langford's had his struggles as a rookie. He's starting to come on. Carter's been hurt. So you're having a bunch of guys who aren't hitting the ball as well as they can, but once they figure that out, this thing could be a playoff team again. Problem is, they might have dug themselves too deep of a hole.
They did dig themselves quite a hole. Your point, though, about Wyatt Langford leads us to our next point. Michelle, I want you to jump in here because Langford has really come on over the course of this month of June. Look up his numbers earlier today. He's batting .310 in the month of June. He's slugging .552. He's got an OPS of, if I'm remembering right, like .880 something. All of those numbers would have him for a season-long stretch in the top 10 to 12 in the league in all of those categories. He's kind of finally starting to find it, and that's really helped, at least in the last week or so, this Rangers offense start to produce a little more.
I think exactly 365 days ago, Wyatt Langford was playing in Omaha in the World Series.
Yeah.
And now he's doing what he's been doing, the stats you just spit out, at the major league level. I don't think it can be overstated how impressive that is for how young he is. Wyatt Langford is the spark that this team needs. I mean, I think if you look at the Rangers season up to this point, it can be summed up by 2 things: injury, bug. If you look at the Rangers transactions page on the internet, it is like 15-day IL, 60-day IL. I mean, they have been bit by the injury bug up and down the rotation and the lineup. And you have guys like Evan Carter and Wyatt Langford that are young that you're counting on. And so it's a lot of pressure on those young guys. I think Bruce Bochy said it best. He kept telling Wyatt that the home runs were going to come. We knew he had the skill set. We just had to give him the time and the at-bats to kind of get there. Now that he's done it, we've seen what he's capable of. A grand slam. I think I saw the other day he's the only player in MLB this season to have an inside the park home run and a grand slam in 2024. Not too bad, if you ask me, guys.
Well, and the inside the Parker is really indicative of how he plays, which is balls to the wall the entire way through, beating out runs to first. I mean, his batting average would not be what it is if he did not have the legs to pull it across, Mike.
Yeah, listen, I mean, this is a guy that the comparison that was made as he was coming up through his time at Florida, his brief stint in the minors, was, hey, this guy's a Mike Trout starter set. That's a mouthful and a half.
Yeah.
And just in the last month, now we're starting to see that start to come to fruition. If that can actually continue, if that can become reality for Wyatt Langford, which is a lot to ask of a kid that is as young as he is, but it seems like he's working in that direction. If they can get Evan Carter back, if Adolis Garcia can wake up from his 3-month-long slumber, plus the pitching that we're seeing, it feels like there's potential anyway for this team to turn the corner.
Sean, I'm also curious from your perspective, who else on this roster has really kind of kept this thing afloat? Because my mind first goes to Josh Smith, who came in basically for Josh Young after he got injured and has been every bit of that you would want in that lineup. I know we like to think that Young's offense is going to come back and buoy it, but Smith has got to stay in the lineup the way he's hitting.
Yeah, Smith is going to have to DH or play some left field once Josh Young gets back, presumably this week. And I mean, heck, the guy's a borderline all-star. Now, I know the third base position where that's where he's trying to get voted in. That's a tough nut to crack, but I think he should definitely be a reserve for the Midsummer Classic, especially with it being here in the hometown. His new batting stance has unlocked something. He now is hitting for a little bit more power. The bat speed is back to what it was when Texas traded for him, the Joey Gallo trade a few years ago with New York. But I look at up and down the lineup, and there hasn't been too many, standouts other than the top two, Semien and Seager. I mean, Seager had a monster month of May after a really slow April. I think here of late, especially today, in fact, to see Leody Taveras put the bat on the ball and use his athleticism. Obviously, he's a plus defender in center field, but if you can get the number 9 hitter to be somewhat consistent, and you get Young back, and you have the top of the lineup do what they're doing, and if somebody, be it Langford, be it Adolis Garcia, be it Young, somebody in the middle of that order can really, carry the mail, this is going to be a fun summer.
I would
We've
say
got we've got about a minute left, real quick. 6.5 games back of Seattle right now. 3 weeks from today is the All-Star break. What does success look like between here and there? How close do you think the Rangers need to get to Seattle between now and July 13th?
Pretty darn close. I think that you look at the fact that they're that far out of the wild card race. They have a lot of ground to make up. Not saying they can't do it, but they're going to need both the rotation to come back and do what they've done the last 2 nights. And then they're going to need this offense to continue to put up runs in a way that we haven't seen them do consistently through these first several months of the season.
And
yeah,
now
you have to be 500 and you have to be within shouting distance because, Seattle's GM, Jerry DiPoto, he makes trades like bodily functions at times. He's going to go get 2 more bats for that lineup.